he doesn't really know how to box. He knows how to fight. He's looking to land that one shot. Yep. And Tyson Fury figured out how to neutralize that shot, stay away from it, and just pop, and got him up out of there.
He got him up out of there. So Deontay Wilder did have two legit excuses, you could argue, from the second fight. He shows up, when he in his walkout, he's got on a 40-pound suit.
Anybody tell him to put that ish on? He didn't put that on. And come out there with the eyes glowing. Well, it was cool. It looked good. I was like, oh, he about to get, Phil, he about to tear you up.
Was it from Black Panther? I don't know what it was. It was to commemorate Black History Month.
Yeah. The eyes was glowing red. I was like, ooh, Fury, he gonna tear you. Ooh, Fury in trouble. I was like,
But he said it weighed so much that it bogged him down and he was sweating profusely under it, and it took something out of him before round one.
Yeah.
Okay? I'll give him a little excuse on that one.
Yeah. How about this here? Normally you have an idea of what you're going to wear in the fight. When you have tried that on first and say, you know what, how far am I going to have to walk? It's probably like, I'm probably going to have to walk 100 yards just to get to the ring. So let me put this on. Let me walk 100 yards and see how I feel. Bro.
Adore you and want you so. I'm just a no one with nothing to give you but all.
What's up, everybody? Yes. Oh my gosh, we are back. Memorial Day.
I know some people don't know what's going on.
All right, man. Special edition of the Pro Set Holiday Weekend. Tapping in.
Tell us what's going on.
Man, I'm telling you, we got a crazy show for you today. I was trying to do a show all about boxing, but this Wilder and Fury situation is going to take up all our time, man. I'm telling you, man. I went down the rabbit hole of social media and YouTube and the internet, and I came across a whole bunch of stuff that I wasn't even aware of. I guess I just wasn't intuitive enough after that last fight. But man, we got a lot to discuss today. Tyson Fury has been on a rampage, actually, just going around, just talking all sorts of craziness about Deontay Wilder. And man, Deontay Wilder has been very quiet until recently, maybe like a day or so ago. He released an interview, his first interview since the arbitration that actually won him the third fight. So me and my friends have been going back and forth about this, about what were our thoughts on, what was going on with this boxing situation between this trilogy of the heavyweight between Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and Deontay Wilder. And, at first I had my own opinion, man. My thing was like, we've seen this fight twice. The first one was a draw. The second one kind of convinced me that Tyson Fury was the better fighter. And then I wanted to see Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua loses to Ruiz Jr., and then he comes back and beats Ruiz Jr., and so it's like, okay, that played out pretty well. This is how it's going to be. So when Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua announced the fight, I was excited for that fight, man, but I had no idea about all of the legal stuff that was going on in the background. And I'm not sure if you did, so I wanted to do this expose today, man, because a lot of this stuff is funny. You heard the clip in the beginning with Skip Bayless and his partner. It's slipping my mind right now. I don't know why it's slipping my mind, but, Undisputed, the show Undisputed. And Shannon Sharp talking about the whole situation, the debacle that happened after the fight, with just all these different excuses that were coming out of the Wilder side as to why he lost the fight. After watching the fight myself, I do believe that they threw in the towel a little bit early, but seeing some of the things that I saw, I understood why his coach probably threw in the towel, and why it was good for Wilder, because some of the things that were going on in that fight were a little bit suspect as you dig deeper into to the dialogue. But we're going to get right into this clip real quick, and we'll be right back after this. Check it out, man.
First, the fight's announced to be happening on August 14th. An arbitrator ruled that Deontay Wilder, after they thought they had a fight, is due a third fight with Fury. Has to happen by September 15th. And the fee, at first when I heard this, Mark, I figured, okay, there'll be some large step-aside fee, and we'll go on. And now, apparently, maybe the whole thing is scuttled, and Joshua has to fight Usyk, and who the hell knows what else. Tell us what's going on.
The WBO moved for Usyk to finally get his shot. I thought this is boxing. Don't believe anyone's first words. Bob Arum told me we're not paying any step-aside money. I didn't know if he was bluffing or not. Now I think he's not. They have booked, Top Rank has booked Allegiant Stadium for the 24th of July. If that date doesn't go through, I'm hearing that it could be August 14th. But it looks right now that the next big heavyweight fight we're going to see is the last big heavyweight fight that we saw Fury Wilder.
Yeah, that is too bad because Fury left no doubt about it in the second fight. And if Wilder, what Fury says is right, if Wilder couldn't beat him at the point that Fury fought him the first time, how's he going to beat him seeing how they've progressed? Mark, to me, it's not about the 50-pound bodysuit Deontay Wilder wore in the ring. It's the 50 pounds Tyson Fury. Deontay's so proud and really good, but he's outweighed by 50 pounds by the best slick boxing heavyweight in the world. How does he win?
And that's my question, man. You know what I'm saying? This is my question, and I've been talking about it since the last fight, man. If they did fight again, how does he even win? I mean, we see him get demolished in the second fight. It was really sad to watch Deontay Wilder really taking those shots. But the thing that we're not seeing in the media is there were a lot of speculations that there were things that were going on in that situation that was not right. You know, Deontay Wilder, I'm going to just go ahead and say it. He said it out of his own mouth. He really believes that Tyson Fury's camp and Tyson Fury cheated. They cheated. He said that, and there's very clear evidence of a lot of these things. One thing is that in this situation, during the fight, the ref pointed out a dent that was in Deontay Wilder's head. I did not see this. You guys got to Google this. There was a dent, like the shape of a triangle, that was left in the side of Deontay Wilder's head. Now, I don't know about you, but my fists are not that strong. Even with gloves on, I'm not sure I can dent somebody's skull, and why it would be in a triangle shape. So that was a little odd. Another thing that he pointed out was the gloves. The gloves were like flopping around. I know me and my friends made jokes about it, that his gloves was flopping around. I've never seen that in any kind of boxing before. Usually the gloves are very tight and there's no movement like that, like a floppy. It almost was like a sock'em bopper was on his hand. And I, you know what I'm saying? If you remember the sock'em boppers. So that was weird. And then there was a picture or video, because there was cameras everywhere, of Tyson Fury's trainers adjusting the glove on Tyson Fury's hand between rounds. And this was not like in the corner or anything. He was like just standing there, and they were adjusting his gloves, like pulling his gloves back or something to help him maybe grip something that he had in his gloves a little bit easier. So a lot of those things were weird to me, you know. And then the fact that Deontay Wilder started bleeding out of his ear, that's what they said. But when you actually examine the footage, it's not really bleeding out of his ear. It's that his ear was cut. Like there was some sort of a cutting tool that went across his ear and caused his earlobes to start bleeding. So all of this stuff is like really wild. You know what I'm saying? This is really wild. But it does not change the fact that Deontay himself came out and gave excuses about why he lost the fight in the first place. First of all, as we hear in the clips, this suit that he wore. I don't know if you've seen this, but you really got to look this up. If you haven't seen the suit that Deontay Wilder wore in Tyson Fury Wilder 2, you need to Google this, man. It was really like almost robotic. It looked really heavy. It had a crown. It was made of metal. It had all these lights in it, and it was really cool looking. But I remember myself thinking, why? Like, why are we wearing this? I don't understand. Whereas Fury came out and, you know, his get up and garb, obviously not as heavy as that, but man, that get up was crazy. And then the fact that they said that he had the weight in it, and then he had to walk in it, and so by the time he got to the ring, he was already fatigued a little bit, and then he got a fight after doing this. So man, you know, I'm like, Shannon, bruh, you kind of think that out. You didn't think that one. No, I get it. And then the other thing, his hand. They said his hand wasn't really fully healed. He had hurt it during training, and so he really couldn't throw the punch that, you know, as hard as he wanted to, out of risk of, you know, breaking his head. Plus, you know, he's got a little bit of an injury. So that was another thing that they said that was going on with Deontay Wilder. But regardless of all that, the fight played out the way it did. Wilder lost the fight, and everybody was like, okay, on to Joshua. But what we did not know, and I didn't know this, is that there was a contract already in place, that this was a trilogy. This was a 3-fight trilogy that Tyson Fury had already agreed upon. So when we see this arbitration and the way Max Keller talks about it, he's talking about it as if, you know, it's something that they didn't already have planned out. The fact that Deontay Wilder had to even go to court to get this third fight is ridiculous. Now that I see that this is what was going on, they literally tried to cut this man out. Joshua's people and Tyson Fury's people tried to cut out this third fight so that they can go on to make this $75 million fight that was going to happen between them. But you can't do that, man. You got a contract. You got to stay obligated to the contract. So the fact that Wilder was like, listen, I'm not going to let this dude get away with this. He is going to fight this third fight, and that's where the arbitration comes. But they've been spinning it in the media as if Deontay Wilder basically was just doing this arbitration to get some set-aside money. Basically, they say, you know, you got this contract, but we'll give you $20 million or whatever. You don't have to fight. You just get out the way, and then the other two can go ahead and fight. Well, guess what? That's not what Deontay Wilder wants. I've been looking at some of the footage, and he really looks good. So I'm not sure if Tyson Fury really wants it with Deontay Wilder. But I'm going to let Tyson Fury tell you what he feels like he's going to do.
Monday, you get the ruling, lose the arbitration. What's going through your mind? What are you thinking?
You know, I'm just a fighting man. I just want to fight. No matter if it's Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, wherever it is, I want to fight. I'm happy that I'm fighting back in the home city of the Gypsy King. This is my town. Las Vegas is mine. So I'm very, very happy that we're going to be the first live gate at the big stadium.
Was there any real thought of paying Deontay a step aside? And are you disappointed?
No.
You want all the money.
I pay him in ass whoopings.
All right.
Ass whoopings is what I pay him.
Okay. After you beat a guy, like you beat him last time, first time, does that make him more dangerous or less?
Do you know, I think he's going to give it a good roll of the dice. This is his last hurrah. I've got his heart, his soul, his mojo, everything of Deontay Wilder. Any bit of substance of Deontay Wilder, I've got it right here in my pocket. I carry it around with me for the last 18 months.
Soul.
This guy is a
that what
glutton
you're
for punishment. He's an idiot. He got absolutely dismantled and smashed to bits in our last fight. And he wants that all over again. He was telling people I've cracked his skull, I've injured his shoulder, I've done his bicep. But yet he wants to get in with me again. He's either one or two things, absolutely crazy, or he's a sucker for punishment.
Oh my goodness. Are you serious? Tyson Fury, those are fighting words. If I was Deontay Wilder and I was hearing this on the radio, on ESPN, that was a clip on national television, guys, where this guy is literally I mean, just really belittling what went on with that last fight with Deontay Wilder. Not even acknowledging that Deontay Wilder was able to stand toe-to-toe with him. And this was not a knockout fight. This was a throw in the towel fight. It was not a knockout. Deontay Wilder looked like he could have continued, but his trainer threw in the towel. And I get it. I know the reasons why, but still, you didn't knock the guy out. You know what I'm saying? And the first fight, Tyson Fury took a slug to the chin and he was laid out. So for him to be talking like this, I know this is what's, they do this thing to get the fight all hyped up. But this between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder really is starting to sound more personal than business. I mean, Deontay Wilder is out here quoting scriptures and giving out biblical terminology about what he wants to do to Tyson Fury, saying things like, I want to commit a homicide in the ring. And I know he said things like that before, but never in this demeanor, man. I mean, you got to hear some of the things that he's been saying about Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury is hilarious to me. The guy, he says, they asked him, were you ever going to pay that step aside fee? He said, I'm not paying no step aside fee. I'll pay you in whoop butt. He's going to whoop him. That's what he said. So, you know what I'm saying? This is hilarious to me, what this guy is doing. But this is going to be the biggest fight of the year probably, because I know we got other fights going on. But this is an actual boxing match between two skilled heavyweights that we haven't seen in a couple of years now. So this is what everybody is starving for. We're excited to see this. The reason why Jake Paul has been able to, the YouTuber boxer, if you don't know who he is, he's been able to garner so much attention. And Mike Tyson, even in his old age, being able to fight Roy Jones and have so much attention on his boxing is because people love heavyweight fights. They love knockouts. They love to see people get, beat up or hit with that one punch that lays you out. And, that happens more so in the heavyweight division than any other division in boxing. So we get a chance to see that again. And the way these guys are talking, they are going to go for the gusto, man. This is going to be a slugfest, and I know, Tyson Fury, they say he's not a technical boxer, but the way he's been training, man, he's been training to do some technical boxing. So I really believe that it's going to go the distance. It's going to come down to each person slugging it out, and so both of them want a knockout, and they're going to go for that knockout. Deontay Wilder says, man, I'm not getting out that ring this time, even if it kills me. He says, I have things in place for my family, so don't worry. This guy is taking it serious, man. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with this fight. Deontay Wilder had some words to say about what was going on with Tyson Fury and all of his escapades on all of these media outlets. Check it out real quick.
I know some people don't know what's going on, but if you don't hear it from me, then it ain't happen. I'm letting you know right now. You don't hear it from me, it didn't happen. And I got my full team, and I'm happy with what I have. And it's been a great camp, man. These, like Malik said, this is our third one. We're going into another one real soon, and that's what it's all been about. Train, focusing, getting back to me, and it's gonna be crazy.
Sure.
Y'all don't want to miss this one. My mindset is just so different. Even right now, like, I don't even feel like I'm here, But my mentality is how you've been contemplating about hurting a person so bad, like to the point you want to disfigure him with his mother wouldn't even know who he was if she passed by him. And when you've been having your mind set on this one person and how you wanted to decapitate him in every fucking way possible, it's like it's that premeditated stuff. And when I do see him,
well, as you can hear, man, Dante is in a zone. This man is ready to decapitate Tyson Fury, as we can hear there in that clip, man. Sorry for the audio, but it was like a spur of the moment live stream that I was happened to catch on YouTube, and they were both on cell phones, so that's where all the clicking and stuff came from. But I had to get that in there, man, because like he said, man, I got to start trusting words from the horse's mouth, because stuff that's coming out, man, from everywhere, all these different places, I can't really trust it. So I'm glad we was able to get some words from Denotay on what was going on in that situation. I would go check out the interview. It's on YouTube. It's a full length, full hour or so that he interviews and talks about everything after the whole arbitration, how he's preparing for the fight. As you can hear in the clip, he was talking about going through several camps prior to even winning the arbitration. So he is in shape. I'm not sure if Tyson Fury is in that kind of shape, but I'm sure once the fight is about to go on, then Tyson Fury will kick into gear, man. But, I'm still worried about Tyson Fury, because I keep hearing things that are coming out about him as well. Even his own brother came out and said some things about him.
20,000 yes men around him. This is what happens, I think, when you get to the top. There's a lot of leeches out there, a lot of hangers on. As you can see what's happening in America with him. Appalling work, to be honest with you, but that's just my opinion, but I'm straightforward. But that's Tyson's business. He's over 21. It's up to him.
When you say appalling, are you talking about the whole thing where, he was going to fight AJ and then the last minute suddenly he's fighting Deontay Wilder?
It's diabolical, isn't it? You're geared up to fight one man, and all of a sudden, on the 11th hour, it's all sorted in 24 hours. He's signing contracts in the hall of a boxing venue. They're around him like the locust. And I think to myself, how can you think straight with all that around you? For my one, it's a mistake. It's a mistake. We can blame his team, can't he? No one else. Anything rushed is no good, and that's been rushed. He was fighting AJ. I wanted to fight AJ. I have no interest in Deontay Wilder. So why has he got to fight Wilder? I told him on a phone conversation, chuck the belt in the bin, let him have it, come back and fight AJ on the 14th of August like was planned. But who am I? I'm nobody, unfortunately. A voice that only a certain amount of people hear. And because you don't drive a Rolls Royce, live in a castle, it falls on deaf ears, doesn't it? You can be idiot. You can be a idiot and an imbecile and come out of a big setup and they listen to you, don't they?
Well, as you can see, Tyson Fury's brother does not agree with this fight that's going to happen, man. He is like, this is a huge mistake for Tyson Fury. And as I study more deep into this situation, man, I kind of agree with him. I really believe that Tyson Fury is setting himself up for failure in this situation. And we don't know where his career is going to go from here if he gets knocked out by Deontay Wilder. Obviously, that Joshua fight is off, and where does he go from there? Where does Tyson Fury go? I mean, nobody's going to want him to see him fight Deontay Wilder again, so who is his next opponent that he's going to be able to build up the cachet to go and fight Anthony Joshua? Because obviously that fight transfers to Deontay Wilder, and then if Deontay Wilder is able to unify the belts, they're definitely not going to want to see Tyson Fury get an opportunity to win all of the belts from Deontay Wilder. So this is a do or die situation for Tyson Fury, and I see he's very confident. He feels like this is the last hurrah for Deontay Wilder, but Wilder's only had one loss in his entire career. So if he loses this fight to Fury, yes, it's going to be devastating, especially if he gets knocked out. But I really feel that he still has some years left in him as far as boxing goes, unless he just gets totally outclassed by Tyson Fury in this fight. And I don't believe that's going to happen. I believe it's going to be a very close fight. It may come down to a decision, but neither man wants that to happen. Both men want to take this thing and end it. They want to end it. They want there to be no doubt who the winner is in this fight. And so with this thing switching up so quickly, Anthony Joshua, obviously he was not happy with what happened with this situation. And, nobody's really been talking about Anthony Joshua's feeling about what's going down with this fight. But, he's a little salty about this situation because he really wanted to fight Tyson Fury. The whole reason he even did the Ruiz fight in the first place is because he was denied his fight with Fury. So he had to fight. You can't just sit on the shelf. You got to get out there and fight. And so obviously he was not interested in the first fight, took Ruiz Jr. for granted, got knocked out, but came back and showed his dominance over Ruiz. So, Anthony Joshua sitting here in the hole like, hey, man, he's in the lull. Like, man, I still need to get a fight. So I'm wondering what they're going to do with his fight. And, if he's going to fight somebody before he has to either face Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. But we don't know, man. We don't know what's going to go on with that situation. So, but I did find a clip of him talking a little bit about what he may want to do, or how, what his feelings are about what's going on with this situation.
Imagine I'm now set to fight Fury 3 months away, and then 2 weeks before the fight, he pulls out. This is the type of character I'm dealing with. So what I'm just gonna bide my time. When he's ready, he knows where I am. I'm keen. I'm a straight shooter. I don't mess around. If he wants to fight, he knows I'll fight. He knows I'll fight him. And I say the longer he leaves it, the worse it is. So he wants to come to me now because I'm still developing and learning. So all I'm saying is that with everything I've seen going on with Fury, I've just known when he's ready, when he's settled and he knows exactly what he's doing, come and find me. Because I can't be chasing a man that's fighting Wilder, fighting Caballero, announcing he's fighting me twice this year. I just realized that let me just wait until he's ready and he'll know where I'm at.
So as you can see, Anthony Joshua's not backing down either, man. He is in there. And that is a recent clip from him from the BBC. And he's just talking about how he's being ducked. There's a lot of misinformation that's going on. Tyson Fury set up this fight with Anthony Joshua knowing that he already had a contract with Deontay Wilder. Why would you do that? Why would you set up a fight with somebody knowing that you had a contract with Deontay Wilder to fight in a trilogy? And so Deontay Wilder goes through the arbitration, gets it. He's not trying to take any step aside money or anything like that. And it's not even about the money to Deontay Wilder. He really is taking offense to the way the media has been treating him since his loss in that last fight, as well as the mouth of Fury. He really wants to just demolish this guy for the heck of it. The fact that he's getting paid to do it is just icing on the cake. So, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy what's going on with this situation. I can't wait to see what's going down when the fight happens. It's going to be an epic situation. I want to see how all this melee kind of, dissolves itself. How are we going to come to fruition with this fight? So, but that's the show, man. That's it. I hope I was able to kind of put the pieces together on this crazy situation with the Deontay Wilder. That's why I call the show Fatal Fury, man. It's just, what the heck is going on? This is crazy. So we will not, we'll have a conclusion coming up here soon. And we'll see. Is Deontay going to win, or is Fury going to prove that he is a superior boxer? We'll get a chance to see that. But I want to thank everybody for listening. You're listening to the Pro Set. This is your boy NBY the Nerd. Make sure you check us out on all social media platforms. I just set up a Twitter specifically for the Pro Set. So if you go to Twitter and type in the Pro Set PC, that's it, the Pro Set PC for short for podcast. It'll pop up. You can follow us. I'll be using that to kind of interact with the sports world throughout the week. Since I only do a weekly show, I wanted to give more content in between each show. So check out that. Follow us on there. Make sure you check us out on YouTube as well as Instagram under Elitely Average, the podcast network. And we thank you for listening. This is episode 5. I'm glad we got through it. Let's see how this boxing thing turns out. All right. Peace.
It's a mistake. We can blame his team, can't it? No one else. Anything rushed is no good. Matching rush. It's fighting AJ. I wanted to fight AJ. No interest in Deontay Wilder. So why has he got to fight Wilder?
And that's what it's all been about. Train, focusing. Getting back to me,
And now, apparently, maybe the whole thing is scuttled, and Joshua has to fight Usyk, and who the hell knows what else? Tell us what's going on.
Let me walk 100 yards and see how I feel. Bruh.